challenges kind of in that initial period, I'd say prior to you beginning and then that initial period and maybe even up to now?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Still probably more challenges now than we did at the start, right? In terms of what we were trying to do. Challenges, you know, a huge challenge obviously we have in the industry is you're competing with large organizations, so retention of resources associated with that is huge.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very difficult. Developing a culture within your organization is probably the most important thing any founder, co-founder or business owner will have. And the reason why is everyone needs to understand like that there is a community in terms of what you're trying to deliver, and they need to understand the bigger picture. So like I would say over the last 6 months, we've a huge amount of time and money invested in terms of our cultural engagement program within all our employees for start off on the right foot in terms of where we're going to go over the next 5 to 10 years. But that also feeds into the client engagement profile.
Yeah.
So how you can intertwine both client engagement and employee engagement, that's a real success, because then you then understand all the, you know, the success moments associated with your employees that have happened with your clients, and give that recognition towards the end. I think my baby at the moment in the organization is, you know, how we can create an engaging culture that's different and that people come into work on. I've never worked in anywhere like this before, and that's the plan.
And you'll attract people that way, because at the end of the day, we're a people's business, right?
Yeah.
Construction's a people's business. Your business is a people's business. So is ours. And people talk. And so creating that type of culture will offer opportunities for both the business and people to come in and experience something different.
Yeah.
And I think that has been a challenge as well for us. We're in a very similar path, both of us, I would think. But really supporting the people, I think, is the biggest challenge, because, and I don't know if your experience is the same, you're trying to run a business at the same time trying to work on projects, at the same time trying to manage clients, to get new clients, do your accounts, hire people, you know, and to do that as a single person is just impossible.
It's a single point of failure.
Yeah, it's impossible.
And it's for me, and like in an honest and truthful manner, it was extremely beneficial for me being a single point of failure at a younger age in my career.
Okay. Yeah.
Understanding was there a go or no go, because the exponential value of learning within that environment was huge.
Yeah.
But then you say, you know, managing clients, managing a business, managing projects, you know, you can't do them all. So one thing we have definitely identified, single point of failure, is me personally, I'm coming out of projects, you know, and being able to focus on the strategic vision of what we're trying to do and support internally. So although you're not directly involved in a project, you're going to be in the background driving, supporting, coaching, mentoring the people who are going to be involved. And that's a real, the fact that you touched off that, because I acknowledge the fact that although it's a benefit, it was something that needed to change within a period of time to grow.
I think that is one of the hardest, because a lot of people that start up a business started from the fun,
reputation.
The fun of what they're doing as well. Like, you know, I love doing cost management. Well, I'm more like people. I prefer people kind of thing, but cost management is what I really like, the strategy around it, all of that stuff. But setting up the business, you set it up with a technical knowledge and experience. You set it up from you working on the projects and saying, maybe there's something more from this. But you come from a technical perspective. And the biggest challenge, in my view, is transitioning out of that technical on the projects and up into the leadership role, and not having your kind of fingers in all the pies, trusting the people that you have brought into the team with the responsibility to deliver that project, to deliver that client, to engage in that certain way, to help with the different business decisions. And I honestly think that's one of the more challenging.
Yeah, well, absolutely. We have in our office, we've mugs, and they have leadership down the side, and L stands for listening, but D in leadership stands for delegation. And to be able to transfer from somebody who does everything to take that step back, to delegate to a team that they need to trust. But that comes with patient scaling, bringing in people that you trust that can work in that environment, and then being able to delegate with them. But Yeah, like it's a difficult front in terms of being involved in everything.
And the other thing that I kind of ponder on an awful lot is that idea, that vision aspect, how you transfer the same vision and enthusiasm that you have up here into the team that are now with you on this journey that you're on. How do you transfer that so that the clients that they're now engaging with see that passion, etc.?
Yes. So for us, it goes back to your cultural engagement program and your client engagement program. One thing we do is we have town halls at the end of every month.
Excellent. Yeah.
And those town halls that we have at the end of every month are in-person town halls. It's just the one time we kind of tell guys we really do need you in here. Yeah. Now, obviously, granted, people will be working on sites and remote environments. That's the world we're in. But each month has a specific focus. Yeah. So month one might be January. Yeah. New goals, new year, right? Yeah. Month in March might be March for us is cultural diversity within an organisation. Yeah. So that's a focus point each month. Within the focus point, then we have a critical, lateral, and technical thinking. Yeah. So we then challenge people within problem-solving workshops throughout the day. Yeah, wonderful. Internal dragons den, analytical wars, that whole approach in terms of building a cultural engagement. Yeah. And then within the day, we have our updates. Yeah. So we'll have a WiiGroup update associated with where we are, what we're doing in terms of a research perspective in the industry, what we're doing from a service perspective. Yeah. We have a media plan and we have a technology plan. Yeah. And to bring people along that journey because, people are powerful, and
the right context, like give them the freedom and
absolutely,
and they'll drive.
Well, here's my thoughts. What are your thoughts? Yeah. And sometimes what are your thoughts before my thoughts? Yeah. Because as a leader, you want to hear what they think first so that they're not going that they're not subjected into your thoughts, so kind of speaking last in terms of that environment so that you can really capture, the true thoughts of that knowledge pool is what I'd call it.
It's an interesting approach to it, bringing people on the journey like that. One of the big things for us would be transparency, transparency on where we are as a business, what the plan is, last month's turnover, billability, how we're doing, people's holidays coming out, vacation time, celebrating the little things like the birthdays, and whether it's the birthday, the Cosmos birthday, that type of thing, our yearly trip, we go somewhere in Europe together as a group. All of that tries to bond, and especially in the new way of working, I would say, remote working, as you say, people on the projects now, difficult to have everybody around the table, the lunch table every day in the office and to communicate that way. So you have to think a little bit abstract in order to, how do you create that culture from a remote setting,
Yeah, well, look, it's difficult, and it's difficult because of the nature of the industry that we're in. We work in a consultancy environment where you are a part of a client's team as well from a delivery perspective. So you're trying to build your own culture, respect the culture of your clients and integrate within their culture as well. Yeah. And then be able to build that back in a remote environment with your own team. But look, there's little, we have our little weekly huddles with our group of people working with different clients, and they can then cross communicate associated with similar problems that they're having. Similarly with our town halls, that's going to be a huge chance for us to bounce ideas off each other or bounce problems and learn from success and failure within each employee. Yeah.
Bringing the team together is important. Also for the team to build their own connections and confidence in each other and learn a little bit.
Well, there's nothing gives me more pleasure than hearing someone had a problem on a job and they reached out to someone else on another job because they thought that person would be good. Yeah. Then they solved the problem, were able to come back with the solution, and you're going proactive, initiation. Initiative. Yeah. Like that's a reward you get from owning a business, and that's a success.
Yeah, absolutely. Self-empowerment, I think, is huge. A lot of people, I think, and again reflecting back to when you started, a lot of people when they try to start their own business will try to do it in isolation. Don't tell anybody. What about failure? The less people to know, the less the impact is on me. Yeah. And I'd be of the opinion the opposite. You need to tell everybody. You need to reach out and look for help
Yeah.
and guidance and ask people that have been on the journey before,
Yeah.
you know. Don't shy away from it, because people love talking about the journey they've been on, so other people can learn from it.
I'm fortunate enough that when I was in a project controls environment, my buddy on every job was the project manager. So that's who I was working with. So I have had the privilege of sitting beside project managers over the last 8 years, seeing the positives, seeing the improvements, seeing the challenges, etc. But the amount of times I've sent a message to one of those project managers who may now be a managing director or an operations director, any chance of a grind?
Anything going? Can we help you with anything?
Well, not even that, but
just a chat.
Well, they know that that's pick up the phone and run an idea by them, or this is what happened. How would you go about approaching that situation? And to be able to have, like, people want to help. That's the thing within the industry. If you don't ask, of course you're not going to get.
No.
But like people, like lots of people have picked up the phone to me, past, current, friends, past employees, current employees, friends, and said, well, I'm going for this job, or what would you do, or will you have a look at my CV here, what are your thoughts? Or and you only love picking up the phone and having that conversation. You nearly love it too much. They're trying to get you off the phone by the end of the conversation. But you know, you're here to help. Like, I got help. I got help throughout the years. There's no doubt about it. I got great help, and I'm very, very fortunate for the people I've met on the journey. Very lucky, I believe, the path that I've been on. You create your own luck, obviously, but I still consider myself very lucky to meet the people I've met and to be given the opportunities on each job that we've been on.
I do think there's a whole aspect of paying it forward, you know, passing on that knowledge and experience, and hopefully people can get the most out of whatever they're trying to do, you know, because, you know, success, there isn't a limited amount of success out there.
No.
Again, success is also subjective, you know, it depends on the individual and what they're at and so on.
Could
you know?
be playing golf 7 days a week.
Exactly.
And I wouldn't mind that success now myself.
That leads us on to, what is the return for you? We know golf 7 days a week. Okay, great. That was a quick one.